let's get going.
Well, it's high noon somewhere in the world.
Okay.
Baptiste. Thank you, Baptiste. Oh, you're welcome.
So here you are. You set up.
Thank you,
What
Baptiste.
level is this game at?
High Plat.
Okay. So you do this. Oh, that's a way longer rewind than we wanted. I thought we'd already fixed that.
Thank you,
You've got your
Baptiste.
Harmony Orb
Thank you,
out.
Baptiste.
The Harmony Orb on Doomfist made sense. The Harmony Orb on Doomfist still probably makes sense because he's going to go in and him getting that extra health per second helps him quite a bit. You move it. It really does make a little bit more sense on him than Zarya. Maybe you see that there's fire going towards Zarya, and that's why you're specifically moving it to her, which I can live with. Zarya, don't get me wrong, likes the Harmony Orb, but it's going to be a bit more impactful with someone like Doomfist. It's going to let him consider going, can I go feed levels of hard with this? Can I go in with 3 abilities instead of 2 type thing? So going into fights, general your flankers, that's going to be a bit more interesting. Sure enough, he's taking some damage here. And you round this corner with nothing. So you see how you opened this angle and you're just sort of here? Well, how predictable was it that there'd be a red opponent on your screen when you opened this angle, when you rounded this corner?
Like, do you mean what's the possibility of me seeing an enemy here?
Yeah.
I think, like, generally when I go this side, I would see at least one.
Right.
Like here, I can see 2.
Right. So you're here. You
Nice.
moved that harmony. You move the harmony again. It's going to be out there for at least 3 seconds, even if you do nothing now. So I want you charging a right click because I want you to have 4 to 5 orbs available when you open this angle. I don't want you to open this angle and then see enemies and then start left clicking. I want you to open this angle and have already used this time effectively that you were rotating, that you were getting here, charging up that right click, and then having one to throw, because it's pretty likely that there's going to be enemies to throw at, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So that was just downtime you created there. Okay. And you're just a little slow to recognize the Widow. Like, that happens. You've got to see the Widow and basically immediately either shoot at her or tuck. You can't be shooting at this Winston shield. And I don't quite know what you're doing here. So you do this, you go behind the angle, and that's fine with me. You decide that you need to get your Harmony Orb out, which is perfectly fine. And you probably don't want to get your Harmony Orb out on one of the flankers because I don't want to risk peeking Widow right now, right?
Yeah.
So you're probably just going to Harmony Orb Soldier real quick, and then you're going to start charging a right click. Because if we're going to have a peek battle with Widow, we probably want to peek with a pre-charged right click, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what I hope to see. Okay. You cancel what looks like a reload there with the Harmony Orb. You were kind of slow to get that Harmony Orb. And now you have 14 shots. There's no reason to reload here. Like, think about that. You just went into a reload. We're already making the decision that we're probably going to miss a fair amount of this fight because there's a Widow on the board that can see basically everything, and we're going to spend time to charge a right click. We're already missing a lot of this fight. With 14 ammo, can we really afford to hit a reload before we start charging our right click to contribute to this fight?
No, I don't think it was needed.
Okay.
But it's just a habit of me. Like, I reload a lot. I feel like I should get ready for the next 3 seconds
Mm-hmm.
or 2 seconds after reloading.
Sure, sure.
But with Zen exactly, I think I should use these 2 or 3 seconds charging, not
Right.
just reloading.
Right. The charging is more important than the reload here. And the way Zen works, you can have 1 ammo left and you can go into a right click and you could still
Oh,
charge up 5 orbs and fire them.
yeah.
Now, that's not to say that, hey, the only thing you're ever going to do is send orbs, but you've also got 20 shots in your clip. That's a lot of shots, and you reloaded at 14 here. So definitely want to watch out for that. But just because Widow's going to eliminate people while this is happening, and you're not really contributing. Your Harmony Orb isn't in a great place. You got it out, which is good. Your Discord Orb isn't on the field. We need to get a right click out here. We need to get some presence in this fight, and reloading isn't that. Okay, so you then open there. She's not where you expected. Sure.
Sorry to interrupt, but my question here is
Mm-hmm.
so part of my job, it's not mainly, but part of it is to deal with Widow, kind of like a full right click peak battle.
Well,
That
that
makes
will
sense.
deal with her. You're one of the heroes who can poke against Widow, and it's not like you totally feeding, right? Because you are as
Yeah,
dangerous to her as she is to you. That said, um, no, I wouldn't get too hung up on, oh, I need to be the one to deal with Widow. It's specifically got to be me. Like, if your ball gets on Widow, that's fine. But like, Widow is someone who you're going to struggle to do your job until she's either eliminated or pushed out of position where she doesn't have high ground that's overseeing like the entire point, right?
exactly. Yeah,
So you're solving her not because, oh, it's my job to solve her because I'm Zen. You're solving her because it's kind of hard to do your job until she's solved, right?
yeah.
Yeah, so that's all. I mean, if you go, hey, you don't have to go, like, if there's a diva, an enemy diva sitting right over there in that doorway, you don't have to open this angle and fight Widow. You can go, oh, well, here's something useful I can do, and you can discord and start shooting at the diva. And that's perfectly fine, even if the diva's not bothering you and is instead fighting someone else or is instead waddling their way up to come bother you later. Perfectly fine for you to fight them instead. But I'm not really willing to open this angle or open this angle without threatening to remove the Widow because she'll remove me and other people if I don't. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. A little slow in the Discord, but that's okay.
I missed a lot here.
You did. Sure. And you decide to go for this kick, which I guess I'm okay with. But I don't love, because, okay, you've got 4 orbs charged up, you've got 5 orbs charged up, and you kick cancel it, but, like, here's the thing, are there places enemies could have appeared? Is kicking this really better or faster for you? You see, you've still... You do this. Tell me what your kick gets you.
Nothing. Actually, this was a general question. Yeah, I forgot to ask you. Like, I see a lot of Zen mains
Hmm.
kicking in general. Is it because like they care about the like accuracy, or is there
No, it's
something
it's to
else?
maintain stealth. So the point of the kick is to maintain that you're here. If you send off a 5 orb from here, the opponents know where you are, and they know that you're magic handing right now and are, vulnerable for a tiny bit of time here. Not a tiny bit of time, but a little bit of time here where you can't send left clicks. Now, if you kick, you're also vulnerable. You can't shoot while kicking, but you didn't announce that to the world, and you also didn't announce to the world your location. So let's say you were on a more aggressive off angle like this, and you went, let me
Mm,
peek this real quick and throw this 5 orb, and then unpeek. Well, if there's nothing to get with this right here, the opponent, and you throw this 5 orb, the opponents are going to see the orbs, and they're now going to know where you are or where you were, and that might not be your absolute favorite thing, especially if you've taken a slightly aggressive position. Or a slightly sneaky off angle, something like that. I don't mind this off angle. This is an off angle from your BAP, for example. It's different than your team, but I don't really feel a strong need to hide that I'm here. Do you?
yeah.
So I'd kind of rather just throw my orbs into a choke, just like I would if I was defending a choke, for example, and go, hey, someone might walk into this. And are you going to value stealth over the chance of someone walking into your 5 orbs at a choke or at a corner that someone might walk through or something like this? And it turns out, if you'd sent these, there's a chance you might have caught Lucio with some or all of them if you'd done that instead of kicking. Now, you didn't know that at the time.
Yeah.
You did know Lucio was back there, but I don't necessarily care. You could have sent your orbs, you could have dragged them across like this, you could have opened the angle, and you could have just sent them down this, and then maybe someone would have walked around this corner into them. Like, there's places that you could have sent your orb that I don't think your stealth really saved you. Because remember, you still consumed your ammo. You didn't, like, get that back by right-clicking here. And you're still locked out and can't really do anything while this kick is happening.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay, you do need to lead him a bit more. Like, he's faster than most heroes, And you do have to go, okay, you get him there, but like we do have to be trying to not aim where he is, but just a little bit ahead of him. And he's Lucio, and he really doesn't have too many options for where he's going to go. Yes, he could wrap around the pillar, but if he spends any time wrapping around the pillar, he's staying in your team's range for longer. So that's probably not what he's doing.
Yeah.
Group up with me.
Okay.
You all look like you needed some healing.
So you have a decision to make here. If you go like this, the hog hook just got thrown, so are you going to reopen this angle right away and shoot, even though your BAP is here and probably getting shot at, or are you going to charge a right click? Those are kind of your options, right?
Yeah.
You all look like you needed some healing.
I probably could have had a good 3 orbs charged up before Lucio appeared on my screen. And at that point, I'd have probably held it for a 4th orb and then sent it. But like that was time that you spent there, right? And Lucio
Yeah.
was the only one who could have really gotten here before you'd have had, say, 4 orbs charged up. And if Lucio's the only one that can get here before you have 4 orbs charged up, I probably want to be charging orbs, yeah?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we're gonna have to lead Lucio's better. Not a big deal. Okay, you're spending a lot of time to move this orb around. So your orb's on Doomfist, I'm fine with that. You move it to Soldier for reasons that are unclear to me. You then go move it over there. You then go move it over there. Okay, this is the first shot you've spent. So you're at 12 ammo now because you just spent a shot. And let's go back to when you were at 14 ammo. Okay, here. So at 159, you stop shooting. Okay. And you've shot again at 205. That was 6 seconds that enemies were on your screen or available to you for most of that, right?
Yeah.
Was this like high value harmony orb moving that you did? Of like, oh, this was critical, this helped my tracer win a duel,
Nope.
this okay. So you see my
Not
complaint
at
then,
all.
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is the first time what do you call it? Like, this is the first time I see this insight or this idea.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Yeah.
Because don't get me wrong, your Harmony Orb is really helpful for people. They really like that 30 health per second, especially squishies really like that 30 health per second. They can leave your line of sight and still have it for a bit. But while it's some of your value, a lot of your value is the damage that you bring his head, and you're just
Yep.
not right there. You hear the hog. Okay. That's a problem. Okay. Sure. Okay. And I look at this, and you go out here, and you decide that you're not going to charge a right click while moving because you want to get that Harmony Orb moved. Fine with me. And now there's shots. There's shots all over your screen. Are you going to find them? No, there's shots all over your screen, and you just, I think, don't see them. Like, oh, look at that. There's red over there. There's red over there. That Reaper. No reason you can't shoot at that Reaper right now, right?
Yeah.
I think you just don't even see him, which I get, but like you're a Zen, you're a projectile hero. He's actually having to walk through right now. He's having to walk through this hallway, which really limits his movement. This is like a firing range for you, right? Like, ooh,
Yeah.
I'd like that. Okay.
Exactly. But I think the reason why I didn't, I'm not sure because like even inside the game or in mid game, there are a lot of things that I don't realize and forget. But I feel like the reason why I didn't shoot there or shoot at Lucio or anyone
Mhm.
is because I was afraid of the hog behind. Like I heard him, I panicked. I
Okay.
was telling everyone no, not everyone. My friend, I'm
Yeah.
doing with my friend.
Okay.
Uh,
Which one's your friend?
I was
Just so I know who you're doing with for synergy.
Carl.
Okay,
Winston.
got it. Yep.
Yeah, I watched your video about the synergy. I didn't finish it, but I feel like we're not doing much add a synergy
Yeah, there's
as a
more you
duo.
could do. So you're worried about the
Yeah,
hog right now, and we'll come back to that. If we want to talk about synergy for just a moment, because we're on the topic and you are in a duo,
yeah,
like you're not the best duo in the world as Zen Winston, but if Ball didn't exist, you'd sort of be a reasonable duo. What you sort of get into here is, yeah, he'd rather you were Anna, you'd rather he were Ball, but it's not the worst thing in the world as long as
yeah,
you can get this situation where, hey, I can get Discord orbs reliably on targets that he opens on, and I can get him Harmony Orb for his engages. Like, he's going to play not hard engage Winston like you would with an Anna or a Zarya. He's going to play a little more sneaky Winston, a bit like a budget ball in some ways, and you can
yeah,
still enable him as if he were a ball. With the he has the Harmony Orb as he go in, the Discord Orb is on that squishy as he starts zapping it every time, and having a Discord Orb on someone is pretty similar to nanoing your Winston. It's not the same, obviously. Your
yeah,
Discord
yeah,
only hurts one person or only makes him do more to one person. He doesn't have damage reduction to himself, but it's something you can always do. So you really want to be watching with him and synergizing on his targets if that's the case. But that's okay. You're worried about the hog back here, you said.
yeah. Before we go to the hog, I'm sorry, but
Sure.
he's mainly a Zarya, and I think here he said that Zarya won't work here, or he doesn't know how to play it. So
Okay.
is Zarya then a good synergy
Not
in
not
some
really,
sort?
no.
Yeah,
The thing is they're not doing anything for each other. Like, don't get me wrong,
yeah,
everyone loves
exactly.
their
That's
target
what I
being
thought.
discorded, but you're not doing anything for Zarya. If I was Zarya and I was really trying to build a synergy around Zarya, my first choice would obviously be Winston. My second choice would probably be Reinhardt. My third choice would actually probably be Lucio, because I can really abuse getting other grabs by having Lucio that's really going to let me greed after one team fights, really push up for staggers, but also really spam people as they're trying to come back into fights. Like, that would probably be my choice. It's not a
Yeah,
terribly high tier choice, though, as a duo, like, if that makes
yeah,
sense. Yeah, sorry. And again, that's not like, if
yeah,
he's your friend, that's fine. You don't have to not play with him or anything, but
yeah,
you've sort of downgraded yourself to, we're playing together for fun, and yes, we're both trying to win, but the duos who are, let's say that the other team they don't have a good duo right now. Let's say the other team has a pharmacy, they're probably going to know how to drive it better, or a Sigma Orisa, they're going to know how to drive it better, that sort of thing. Like, they're
yeah.
actually going to pull out that synergy.
Yeah. Going back to the hog,
Hmm.
for some reason, comms didn't work for me in this game. I
Okay.
had to quit the game and go back.
Ouch.
But here, I was panicking and telling my my cousin to tell the team that hog is behind. Hog is behind. Like I was
Got it.
panicking a lot.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So you're just sort of panicking. You've lost your sense. If you're worried about a hog showing up on your screen, I might be charging up a right click, right? Because if I think a hog is going
Yeah.
to show up or something, I might be doing that. Now, if I think he's going to show up before I could get 4 orbs charged up, I might not. But
Group up with me.
okay. So you're just confused at this point. Got it. And he's not back there. We can cheat now and see that. But you just lost track of him, because if we actually look at where he is, oh no, he is back there. He just wasn't on your screen for some reason. From the what do you call it? I expected to be able to see him through walls. There we go. We couldn't see him through walls for some reason. Okay, that's fine.
Hello there. Knock, knock.
You can tell I'm really scared.
You are. You are. But again, some of these times where you are
Knock, knock.
drifting behind, like, you've closed an angle, and I know you've closed this angle. No one is going to really shoot at you as you're going from here to here, right?
Yeah.
So I want you to use this travel time. I
Oh,
want you to store this travel time to charge a right click. And you might wait an extra moment before you open the angle, because I would like you to have 4 orbs before you open the angle, and you might only charge up 3 in the time it takes to get here, 2.5 in the time it gets here. But I'd rather use this time to charge than delay an extra third of a second and then open and be ready to fire. Does that make sense?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. Okay. Sure.
Group up with me.
Good. Okay, so I see that you've left your Discord orb on the hog, I suppose. And I don't really like that. Like, you're doing this, and you might be leaving your Discord orb on the hog going, I have to make sure he gets eliminated, but that's not really good enough for me. I actually want to. If I'm shooting at a new target, I'm going to be greedy with my Discord orb, and like 9 times out of 10, I want to go ahead and put that Discord orb on the target I'm working on. Like, I am going to be that greedy. Maybe you're thinking, no, this is the 1 time out of 10 I don't because that hog is really weak and I have my ball over there and I want my ball to finish him off. But like, I. How do I put this? You sort of need your Discord orb to defend yourself. So we look at this and that's happening, and you do eventually move it, but that's probably 2 more shots you could have had on her with the Discord orb there. And I suspect that hog was going down either way, or not going down either way. Either someone's on him or they're not, and he's so low health that, the orb isn't really going to matter. But okay. You're just stuck and you're not realizing your kite path. So you can't stay here. You have to scoot out a little and then hop on this and kite out to cover, right?
That's what I want.
Okay, so you're just not realizing the map geometry quite fast enough?
Yeah.
Festivity.
Okay. It's a little unfortunate because you're already too far behind. This fight was basically already over, unfortunately. You look at this, the hog did not, in fact, go down. You've lost 2 people already. It's not actually worth spending your Transcendence here because you're already at... By the time this point flips, it's going to be over 85%, right?
Yeah.
Which means one more one-team fight is going to get you the win. And so we're sort of transiting to save ourselves, and that might be right if it was a 6v6 and you were about to go down, especially if your team could then use a portion of that Transcendence. But this is a 4v6, and you guys you don't need to stall this point anymore, because, again, if you get it to 85, it's generally going to mean if you cleanly win one more team fight, the match is over. So this isn't really worth. You've sort of spent your Transcendence, which is, a great ult. Oh.
I think Trans is like my number one
Ability?
weakest point. Yeah.
Okay.
As, I don't know how to use it like most of the times.
So with Transcendence, we're really looking either to look at the other team and decide it's something we're going to counter. That would be one way you can think of it. You can go, hey, I'm going to use this to enable my team to make a power play, which would be, hey, when my team is already brawling with the other team, is already in the mid-fight, but before I've lost anyone, I'm going to let them brawl for a little bit, but before I lose anyone, I'm going to pop Trans, and I want it to be in the mid-fight where it's hard for the other team to disengage. Do you understand what I mean by the mid-fight, like the brawl?
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
Okay, so like, when your Winston's in there or when their Roadhog is in there, that sort of thing where it's like, okay, it's going to be hard for them to get away now, that sort of thing. Or you're just looking to go, hey, I'm going to save someone's life with this, but I'm generally going to save someone's life with this in a way that it's hard for opponents to disengage, which is sort of you use defense into offense, or you are purely going for offense, but you intentionally bleed people's health because you know that you're going to save them before anyone goes wrong. And then the other way is, again, you see that the other team has Flux, and you're going, I'm going to hold this for Flux, and then if Flux happens while you're not there or something, then you quickly go look to use it offensively as quickly as you can. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but speaking about switching from defense to offense,
Uh-huh.
or the opposite,
Mm-hmm.
I think ML7 talked about, is it the aha factor for Zen? Like, let's say when my Zarya is at 50 HP and I nano her as an Ana,
Yep.
it's like, aha, you thought you're going to kill Zarya? No, she's now going to kill you and she's full health. And it's like a surprise.
Sure, it
Is it
doesn't have to be that
from?
much of a
Yeah.
surprise. Like, let's assume that, for example, 2 Zaryas are fighting each other, and their Zarya takes yours. Let's say both of them go down to 200 HP, because I would not go down to 50 HP. Let's say they both go down to 200 HP, and then you pop Transcendence. It doesn't even need to be a surprise. Your Zarya is just able to last and to fight longer, and it's hard for their Zarya to walk away, especially if your Zarya knew that she was going to get Transcendence and was able to play aggressively the whole time.
Yeah.
So you don't need to over focus on surprising them with it. they should be
Yeah.
tracking when you have Transcendence, but you do want to use it at times where it's hard for them to disengage.
Okay. And speaking of the 9 out of 10 times,
Hmm.
is it a 9 out of 10 times? Don't use trans when we lose already 2 people and they are 6.
I think the 9 out of 10 times was in reference to your Discord orb, actually. Where 9 out of 10 times I'm
Yeah,
going to want your Discord orb on the target you're shooting at.
yeah. I know that, but
Okay.
I'm saying like, is it the same as this?
Oh, yeah, there's going to be times where you down people and you use Transcendence, absolutely. There's going to be situations where, hey, I'm down people, but we still have, I don't know, we still have Grav plus Missile Barrage, and it's a 4v6, but like, hey, I'm going to trans to keep my Zarya alive, because as soon as this is over, we already broke their Diva mech, we're going to Grav and Missile Barrage and win the fight, even though it's a 4v6. So yeah, there's times that you would do that, or, hey, if we drop the point, we lose the match because it's overtime, or, you know, they're at 97% or whatever, and of course, you're just going to have to make the best of the situation that you can in those.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. But generally speaking, it needs to either be, hey, the match or the round is going to end, or we have a pretty good solution, win condition, whatever, that's available, that's still on the table, that will be able to overcome the weakness with a high probability.
How about a little extra? Targets on sight.
Trying, but yeah.
Could I have done anything here? I think I either realized it too late or he just went super sneaky. Like, still.
Sure. So here you are. You do hear his footstep right there, and you turn basically immediately. You can still win this, though it's hard. You have to decide, am I kiting back to try to maximize the amount of time before he eliminates me? Am I kiting to the right to try to join my team? Or am I kiting left to the health pack? And I think left to the health pack is
Yeah.
probably your worst choice, but right towards your team is pretty predictable, and it's going to make his shots a little easy to line up. So I'd probably look at
Exactly,
this and say, hey, you want to kite back, but I'd also be mashing the I need healing button. I wouldn't necessarily be mashing it, but if your voice comms aren't working, I'd be pressing the I need healing button at least once to try to draw some of your team's attention back here to try to help with this. Now, in
Yeah.
terms of could you have seen this coming? I mean, potentially you could have seen this coming. Potentially you could have seen, wait, no one is pressing up on the left side. We have 0 left side lane control. And you could have also been rotating up here with a right click partially charged. Like, here we go of, hey, you're shooting. Fine, nothing's on your screen. You could start to charge a right click right now if you think nothing is going to get back on your screen. I don't necessarily know that I expect nothing to hop back on your screen, so that doesn't bother me. But we did actually hear our first Reaper footstep right there, if you heard.
Yeah.
And there's the second, yeah. And so I wouldn't have gone towards this as hard. I'd have actually wanted a little more back, because even though they've buffed his range, he does still suffer at range, comparatively speaking. And going to the health pack, I do think was your worst option of these. I think, like, okay, I got the health pack, but now he's right on top of me, and he doesn't care if you're full health. He can still 1 or 2 shot you from full health pretty easy if he's right on top of you. So you getting the health pack doesn't really extend the fight in your favor, because by the time you get it, he's going to be on top of you, right?
Yeah.
So again, I'd have preferred a kite path more back like this, and then maybe you even play some ring around the rosy with this, whatever the case may be.
Pain is an excellent teacher. Darkness falls.
Mercy as summoned.
Take the objective.
Winston report.
Shut down.
Okay. Company's worked its way over to
Shut down.
Doomfist. We like it. Probably wouldn't bother there. I'd probably just leave that to Mercy. She's already got the beam attached to him. He's not really in or she's not really in danger of the fair there.
I require
That, on the other hand, you do move for. So, like, moving
Yeah.
for the fair earlier was sort of like, yeah, whatever. But this, you absolutely move. It looked like you were going to do just that, and then changed your mind.
No, I don't think, I'm pretty sure here
Yeah,
that I thought I gave it to Mercy, but
got it.
I think like the monkey just went right in front of my sight of line, you
Got it.
know?
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's just discipline on it. You can narrow how close it has to be to the target to apply if you want, but ultimately that's just going to be a discipline thing of, hey, how well are you aiming at the target that you're trying to harmony orb? Okay, no big deal.
Is it a problem of orb sensitivity?
It's a problem of aim. Like, yes, you can use your orb sensitivity to fix it, but like if you look at this, you tried to do this. We'll get you the exact frame. Your crosshair is closer to the monkey than it is to her right now. You see that?
Yeah.
So, like, you might think, oh, she's the obvious target, and you can make your sensitivity tighter. You can be like, oh, no, I want to make my sensitivity tighter, but, like, okay, if you make your sensitivity tighter, you're not close enough to orb her. Like, you see where your crosshair is, and it's not particularly close to her. You're kind of
Yeah.
counting on the fact that it's generous right now. Okay.
Yeah.
And you can
So
make it tighter to make yourself more disciplined, but
yeah.
yeah, okay.
So if the sensitivity was 0, I should place it exactly on it. Like I should place my crosshair on
Well, that's what you'd
the
have to do, but you don't
teammate.
necessarily want to spend that much time, right? Like you don't want to have to hit the perfect headshot to get your harmony orb on Mercy. But ultimately, it
Yeah.
is going to go with, even when your sensitivity is loose, it's going to go with the person that is closest to your crosshair when you apply that harmony orb. So, you know, it does a good job of going, hey, people didn't get, you know, in the way, that sort of thing. But ultimately, you do sort of have to aim at the person that you're trying to harmony orb, especially in traffic.
Yeah.
Okay. Sure. Okay, there's nothing there. You decide to go into a reload here. No, you don't decide to just do that. Okay. Sure. Reasonable idea.
Gaze into the iris.
Good. Right idea. While rotating, you're charging. You fire at the choke. Fine. Right. And if that could happen every time, you two could do it pretty well, right? Like if you look at this, and it's just a, hey, my monkey's going in, he's harmony orbed, and my Discord orb was on it immediately. Even an instant earlier would be better. This is going to work pretty well, and you two are going to make some things happen. But that's okay.
Yeah.
Especially if you hit any shots.
I found it.
There you go.
Exactly.
Okay.
I was expecting that blossom.
Let me turn you up a
For
little
some
bit.
reason. Yeah.
What was that?
I was expecting Death Blossom. I was too scared.
Oh, I
For
assumed
him
you were
to
doing it to
kill
protect
me.
your barrage, but okay.
Yeah.
It was a little late to protect your barrage, but that's what I assumed you were doing.
Experience festivity.
Yeah, I'm not too worried, but okay.
Just like
Yeah, that's fine. Like, they had to go to point, the brawl was forced, no big deal. Okay, let's head into point 2. And we're going to the well.
3, 2, 1. Round 2. Capture the objective.
Okay. Sure. Okay, so we do have to think about where she's gonna go. So, like, this is a Pharah,
own worst
and
enemy.
she's generally going to drift downwards unless she uses one of her abilities, right?
Yep.
So she's generally going to be working her way down. So if I slow this down, okay, well that was to the right quite a bit, and like she doesn't have a way to get that far right. That's better, but it's too far below her. She's investing pretty heavy with her jet fuel right now, and she can't keep that up. That's a little bit better. Okay, and now she's yours. Like, she's just gone pretty hard with what she's used here, but she's gonna have the angle. Okay, we'll live.
Justice is defined by the hand.
The objective
And
is
then pharmacy should I focus my Discord and my aim on Mercy first?
You're probably gonna put them on Pharah, to be honest, because you're probably gonna try to take Pharah out rather than Mercy. You're welcome to shoot at the Mercy. If you want to Discord and shoot at the Mercy, that's fine. But Mercy does have the smaller, harder to hit hitbox, as
Yeah.
well as the slightly less predictable movement than the Pharah does. So generally, you're going to go after the Pharah first because that's sort of what's real, what more players are able to do at this level. But if you feel like, no, I'm good at hunting Mercies, I'm not going to stop you. It's not wrong by any means, but you're going to find like things where, hey, I'm discording him to mess with them. Your Diva, for example, is generally going to mess up the Pharah, not the Mercy, because your Diva, while messing up the Pharah, even if your Diva doesn't take down the Pharah, is going to block out the Pharah from taking shots on her team, which is her job, which is what she does. And like, oh, it would be really nice if it was discorded when your Diva went after the Pharah, things like that. I'm aware of the lack of Diva on your team, but we can dream.
I could use some assistance.
Yeah, so I'm not going to do this. Like, here you are, and you decide, hey, I'm doing that, and then you decide you want the May, and there's just no reason to not move your Discord to the May here. Does that make sense? Like, you're shooting at the May, Discord really doesn't take very much travel time, and it doesn't actually delay your shot because you have a small delay between shots, and even though there's a Discord application where Zen waves his hand, you can cancel like, 90% of that animation with your next shot. So it doesn't really cost you anything. It's worth getting that out there if you're going to shoot like that.
But shouldn't my Discord be on the person that my team would focus mostly on? Like I thought here Diva would be more focused more.
Right. But here's the thing, your team is unpredictable. Your team is unpredictable, and if your
Exactly.
team is unpredictable, you need to make sure that your Discord orb is getting value. The way to make sure that your Discord orb is getting value is for it to be on the target that you're shooting. Ideally, your team is shooting at the target that you're shooting at. Ideally, your team is following your Discord orb around for some, to some degree. If you've got your Discord orb on another tracer and you're not fighting that tracer, but you know your tracer is fighting that tracer, so be it. Feel free to shoot at something else. Or, hey, you've got the Discord orb on a Diva that just left your line of sight, but your Zarya has rounded the corner and is melting them. Sure, you can leave it there. But you don't have any reason to believe right here.
I could use some assistance. I need heat.
You might want this Diva to be shot, but who's going to do it?
Yep.
Right. So really, like, I wouldn't focus too hard on, oh, I need to have my Discord orb there for other people to shoot at them, or Diva's the right target to be shooting at right now. We will need to solve Diva, get her defense matrix out, get her out of mech before we can win the team fight with ults. Like, you might be thinking that way, but, or, not let her address off angles, but she's defended herself. She's gone behind cover. So unless you're keeping that Discord orb on her because she's like a sniper and you want to know when she's going to peek again, you're really going to want to move this Discord orb to what you're fighting, right?
Gotcha.
Okay.
I'm claiming this objective.
Thank you.
There is disquiet in your soul. I am
Okay.
in your
You see
soul.
this. You can tuck here, that's fine, but you're in a little bit of a tough spot because you've allowed yourself to be put here where you sort of know that this is a rough spot of how are you going to get out of this hut?
Uh, Actually, I was going to ask you, like, Hog's left side, Farah's top right, pharmacy actually,
Hmm.
and I don't know if I think Diva's was also with them. Yeah. So I was confused, like here, like one thing that I started asking myself, like each time I play,
Hmm.
is my positioning good? Am I staying in good place? Here, I knew that the place I was in is wrong, but I didn't know like where else should I have gone. Like Hog's left, the whole left side of the map is his. I don't want to deal with him. So I felt like I had to go right, and
Sure.
right was
Well,
Farah, Diva, Mercy.
okay, so let's go here. So here you are. It's not his though. He's not on the right now. You see this? He's back
Yeah,
here.
yeah,
So like we can rewind for you a bit, but what we're looking at is
I'm claiming this objective. Thank you.
you're scared of the hog, okay? Turns out that's been addressed. You saw your teammate sort of go address that on the left there of your hog is playing blocker over here, that sort of thing, which,
yeah.
that happens.
There is disquiet in your soul.
And we'd like to work our way more left, but that's okay. Yeah. Like, we'd like to get ourselves a little bit more back on this left side of the map where we can play a bit better effectively. We have cover that we can take because in here, when this plays, we walk out here, we're going to have to walk out into Pharaoh rockets, and it's just not a great time for us. But that's okay.
Yeah.
Shut down.
Join me. Winston report.
Sure.
Chaos within you.
Okay. Right idea, but you're going to have to tuck again. I'd tuck again. I don't really want this fight because my health hasn't recovered, right? Like, I look at this, and you might know where she is, but are you going to hit the 3 directs it's probably going to take her down at least before she gets an indirect on you?
Nope.
But if you can delay her having a clean shot on you for longer, you can let your shield start to continue to recharge, right?
Yeah.
So she's
But
actually under more pressure to hunt you than you are to hunt her, yeah?
yeah,
So kite left instead of this.
exactly.
Yeah.
But the thing is, the hover or the jetpack that she made wasn't actually like on my mind more than when she landed. Like when she landed, I thought that that's it. But then she jetpacked. I didn't
Hmm.
notice that as
Got it.
much.
You didn't realize she had her shift. Okay.
Yeah,
Shut down.
Some assistance.
Justice reigns from above.
Okay. She's staying still. You can't miss those. Like, I get it.
Yep.
She's far away, but she's staying still, right? Like, you gotta
yeah.
hit those. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. So you decided to push up this way. You decided, hey, it's scary, things are happening, and I want to push up left instead of pushing up main. Which I'm potentially okay with, but here's the thing. Like, you can do this, I suppose, to try to clear some of the Farah aggression, but A, Farah's going to see you, so, like, Farah's still going to get you over here, isn't she?
Yeah.
And you don't have other teammates who are going to clear her as easily because now she has cover that she can use while shooting at you, doesn't she?
Yeah.
So you were actually better pushing this way. You could have maybe pushed this way if you had, like, a Cassidy pushing up ahead of you or something who wasn't in spawn, but alas, we don't have the things that we want.
I think here the reason why I went left to
Mhm.
widen the angles.
Right, and angles are absolutely fantastic, but you do have to think about her specifically and what she can do to manipulate angles. I don't want to have to advance on a pharmacy alone. Um, like this is useful. This is useful. I'm not strictly opposed to taking this off angle here. The thing that you sort of run into is you have to walk through a hallway, like we talked about that Reaper walking through a hallway either, that makes you a little easier to spam, and she's able to take cover against your team and fight just you, which is sort of not what we want. But it's not the worst thing in the world, and it is thinking the right way to take this off angle to generally be trying to push multiple angles. Like that is thinking about the game the right way. You just have to consider a little bit, okay, well, I see her, it's probably time for me to back out.
Shut down.
There's the May, we'll deal.
Shut down.
What? You can't stand here. What are you doing? Like,
I got too greedy, I think.
there's no way that you went up here to try to take out this May, as opposed to just kiting further back here, or staying where you are here. Like, ugh, okay. Okay, we'll deal.
Heroes never die.
Move back. Converge on the objective. I need healing. Shut down.
Repetition is the path to mastery. Vast in the shadow of doubt.
Okay.
Experience.
Sure, over time you don't really have a choice. But where are you going to be when this ends? Okay. It's a little disappointing. Jeez, did they break the replay viewer, or did I change a setting? I should be able to see people through walls, especially when I'm third person like this. That's weird. Okay, so not the end of the world here. It was obviously going to be hard for you to turn this fight. It's just the two of you supports. Obviously, we'd have liked to step back on it an instant earlier and extend overtime here, but that's life.
Ready for battle.
Okay, so round 3.
Ready for battle.
Let's see if their pharmacy continues to give your team quite so much trouble. And let's see what you can do to solve problems for your team.
4, 3, 2, 1. Round 3. Capture the objective.
Okay. Why are you... So, like, they've been running pharmacy. Your crosshair should actually already be up there, because that's the only place an enemy was going to appear on your screen right now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it doesn't slow you down to have your crosshair up there. Crosshair should have been already up there. We should have already had a good 3 shots on her, 4 shots on her, 5 shots on her by the time that we get here. But okay. You hit that fine.
Shut.
You're going to look at that. And don't get me wrong, you can do this, but I have no idea what's to your left. Like, I legit have no idea what's to your left. I see that your team went to point. I see that pharmacy is above point. I only see one red enemy on point right now. What's to your left?
Probably hog. Nothing actually.
So they used a sim TP strat, which is fine. It's gonna drive me nuts that I'm gonna have to do some of that. Okay. Turns out they used a sim TP play, and that's fine. But you didn't know that. If you knew that, hey, there's no one there, that's fine. You can just fire it on point like this. But right now, you're vulnerable to a hog walking through, a tracer walking through, a Cassidy walking through, a Reaper walking through. Like, anyone that walks through just gets you for free right now, yeah?
Exactly, yeah.
That doesn't really work. Okay.
You are your own worst
And if you checked
enemy.
first, no problem. But you didn't. Okay. Discord orbs on the Pharaoh, which is okay, but you have to ask yourself, is your team playing right now to beat the Pharaoh, or is your team playing to win the ground fight and then clean up the Pharaoh?
Won the ground fight.
Looks that way. I mean, you do have an Ash plus your pharmacy, so And you swapped into a diva now as well, so you could win against the pharmacy, but it looks to me like your diva and your Zarya are fighting what's on the ground, so let's discord what's on the ground and fight them.
I require aid.
The objective is now
Grace. Tranquility.
Group up with me.
Okay. Sure. Why are we not just free farming these guys? So like, here's the thing. You throw that out. Sure. You've got your Discord Orb on their Symmetra, your Harmony Orb on your Zarya, so be it. You're over here. You're just puking damage. You should just be able to puke damage from here. No one is bothering you. No one is bothering you. Puke, like you can't help yourself from dealing damage here. You should be able to deal a near infinite amount of damage. Sorry, it's just an expression. But look at how long you've not been bothered. Like, okay, this is the first time that you got bothered. The first time that you got bothered was at 11:21 here. And you've been in a position to just do as much damage as you want.
There is disquiet.
Really, since about now, this isn't a great angle for it. But here you are, and you just get to do as much damage as you want for the next 16 seconds, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to play this again.
Enemy contact.
My ultimate is charging.
Why is nothing
only
dead?
Yeah.
So,
I
like,
also only got damaged when I discarded fell.
right. So, like, nothing's dead and this is a problem. So either we need to pick our targets better, we need to aim better, or we need to do something else. But, like, your position here is great. You've got a different angle that none of the opponents are looking at. They're not actively trying to dodge you. They're trying to more actively dodge your team, who are at an angle more like this. So their movement is going to be more strafey like this, which doesn't impact you very much. The opponents aren't shooting at you and making you stay honest. So, like, we have to do more damage because this is not a positioning issue. This is an output issue. So let's review this one more time, and we'll look at it a little more closely and say, hey, what's going on here? Are you getting too distracted by the Pharah? Are your mechanics just letting you down because they're weak? Is this a case of you're moving your Discord Orb around way too much, or you're not sticking to targets? Is this a case of you're not sticking to targets that you could finish when you'd have to get a little more, play a little more risky to do so? So you go through here, and you're shooting at the diva, and those are reasonable shots on the diva. And, like, that's diva that we're shooting at, and after the first two shots, we're not hitting her. And I get that she's using boosters, but she's diva. She's a big target. And then here we go here, and we go, hey, that's going on, whatever. I might want to stay on the diva, perfectly fine. What do you move? Your Discord Orb fell off, so you're going to move it. Totally fine. Where's your Discord Orb? It's on the Roadhog.
Enemy contact.
Now it's over here on the Pharah, and I don't know, I mean, I can shoot at the Pharah, but really what this is going to come down to
Shut down.
is we basically just missed a whole clip of damage when no one was looking at us, right?
Yeah.
So like we have to do better in order to climb higher. Like we can't make your positioning meaningfully better than this. You have to contribute more damage as Zen than this when you have this sort of situation. You have to contribute more damage. Sometimes that'll mean you get elimination. Sometimes that'll mean, it forces back their Hog and Diva, and therefore it's more clear for your Pharah to get an elimination. Doesn't matter how the eliminations actually come in, but you have to put out greater pressure than you are. So some of that can be done with aim workouts. Like, hey, you can spend some time in Aim Labs, Kovacs, you can spend some time in Tryhard FFA, whatever the case may be, but we're going to have to spend some time working on our aim because this sequence just doesn't work. Agreed? Like, I don't mean to embarrass you
Yeah.
over that or anything, but
No,
like,
no, it's fine.
this is just the sort of thing where your aim is or your consistency is actively holding you back here, and this is a particularly obvious example of it. We've had some other ones in this game, but this is a particularly obvious one, so I wanted to point this out. Now, there's other things that we're going to give you. I'm not just going to say, hey, aim better forehead at the end of this review. Don't worry, we're going to talk about other things as well, but like your aim is actively holding you back right now for trying to go any higher with your Zen. It's actually hard to I would say your aim is a weakness even for this level of play right now. Fair?
Yeah.
Okay.
Fair.
Cool.
My ultimate is charging.
Okay, you're kiting away, sure. You throw the Discord in an orb. You're probably going to charge a right click now. You went for the reload instead and you're going high ground. Okay.
I need healing.
Cool. Now you have a decision to make of do you charge that right click or do you Discord? You do neither. What am I going to say right here? You get the Harmony Orb off, fine. What am I going to say I want you to do right now?
I really don't know, but what I was looking for is a 5 orb on someone
Oh, I agree.
on point.
A 5 orb on someone on point would be great. And you might get that 5 orb from here. You might get that 5 orb from here. But you can start charging that 5 orb right now. I don't want to find my target, then charge the 5 orb. I want to charge up to 4 orbs, then open the angle. And I have the time when I'm going from 4 to 5 orbs, or even holding 5 orbs a little bit, to find it. Because a 5 orb right now is correct. A 5 orb is how you can play to try to get a pick off. But you see how, like, okay, look at that. There's a target on your screen and you've only got 3 orbs. I hope that Pharah doesn't see you and start shooting at you. I hope that Anna doesn't see you and move or sleep dart you. Or you see where I'm going with this?
Yeah.
Okay. And then you only send a 3 orb. That's wasn't going to eliminate her. That's just hard. I'm not worried about that one.
Is almost ready.
I mean, I'm worried that you went out early and exposed yourself and you never had a chance to take the Anna, but I'm not worried about, hey, not out-dueling the Valkyrie Mercy in here.
Acknowledge.
Be one with
Bob,
the
we're
universe.
taking that
Echo
objective.
here.
Warm up.
यही परम वास्तविकता है. Heroes never die.
Open your
Okay, you move your Harmony Orb. Your next move should be moving your Discord Orb. Fine.
Type Echo.
Sure. Okay. You kind of just wasted time here. So you do this. Okay. It's exploding, and you can't hit it. So, like, here we are. I know it's a little bit of time that I'm talking about, but the mech is exploding, and Diva can't shoot you, and you have no health, right?
Yeah.
So you should hard be using this moment that Diva can't shoot you to kite yourself both towards cover and towards the Mega, right?
Yeah.
I don't care that Baby Diva lives. A, she won't live. Your Zarya will handle her. But B, it's more important that you live than that she dies, for sure. Especially because you kind of want her out of her mech rather than eliminated right now. But okay.
System health compromised.
Group up here.
adversity is an
Type
opportunity
Echo.
for change.
I am unstoppable.
Experience festivity.
Sure. Now, she couldn't actually one-shot you, so you could have greeted this a little harder. I'm definitely getting nitpicky right here, but, like, she can't one-shot... Oh, is she nanoed right now? I lied. She can one-shot you. Yeah, you were right. That's fine. Okay. Doesn't matter. And that's the end as far as we're concerned. Okay, so if I look at this, there's a few things that come to mind. The first thing that is definitely going to be important is you're simply going to have to do some aim work. It is holding you back. I don't care if you go try that with, an aim labs, a Kovacs, if you just do a bunch of try hard FFA, I really don't care, but you're going to need to actively work on your aim. And remember, Zen is a projectile hero, so what you're looking to do is you're looking to go, hey, I'm going to aim where my opponents are going to be. I'm not aiming at my opponent's head. I'm aiming at where I expect my opponents to drift to. So I'm aiming at, above their shoulders. I'm aiming at the places they're going to. As you get closer, you can aim more towards them. As they're further away, you aim further to the left, further to the right. But you're going to have to just do that aim work. And there is no yes, this is the secret to instantly have better aim. Aim just takes work. It's a skill. It's like developing your muscles. You have to keep working on it. And it's why I don't usually go super hard on aim in my reviews. But again, it's holding you back. So we're going to say, hey, that's something that you need to now, because you're really not going to be able to get much better, much further up the ladder with your aim levels, work on. But then things that you can work on that you can get faster returns off of, that you can really focus on while you're playing and not just sort of be part of your routine things that you do to get better at Overwatch, which you can focus on, use like 5 to 15% of your brain power while playing to think about, to try to get better at. Well, the first thing is going to be, I want you to do a better job of, when you're rotating, charging those right clicks so that you have a right click ready when you open angles. Do you understand what I mean by that?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's going to give you the chance, that's going to make it more likely that you can get pickoffs, that's going to make you better able to defend yourself when you're around the corner and, oh, there's a Reaper right there, that sort of thing. But it's going to give you more pickoff opportunities. It's going to give you more total efficiency, uptime, however you want to think about it, because even though it's not as efficient, even though it's less damage per second than left clicking, well, you couldn't be left clicking while you were finishing that rotation. So showing up with a pre-charged right click, that is going to be value. So that's one thing I'm going to want you to do. I just want you to be conscious as you're rotating through the map. Hey, am I charging my right click as I'm approaching a place that I'm going to peek, or that sort of thing? That's what I want you to do, and let's try to build that habit. The other habit that I'm going to want you to try to build is, I really want that Discord orb to stick to the targets that you're shooting at. It looks like you're being selfless, you're being a bit of that support mindset of, it's my job to help my team, and it is your job to help your team, but really, if you can't shoot at it, you mostly don't get to assume that your team can shoot at it, and you don't have enough knowledge of when your team stops shooting at it, so you've really got to be pretty greedy with your Discord orb. It is for you first. If your team is melting a diva, that's great, but if a tracer shows up on you, you have to Discord orb them. You have to, because you need that tool to defend yourself. But also, if you can't shoot at that diva, how long is your team really going to stick to it? I would much rather have the Discord orb on something that I know at least I'm doing damage to than, well, all 5 of my teammates should be attacking this. Well, they probably can't, type thing. So, I want you to be more greedy with that Discord orb. I don't want to see a lot of situations where there's 2-3 seconds of you shooting at a different target without moving the orb. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So all of those should get you more total output, which is what we're looking for, because that's kind of where you're lacking. You're a little too focused on your Harmony Orb. You're not quite focused enough on your output, or you're not quite getting enough value out of your output. But again, I want some serious aim training, and that doesn't have to be, oh, I'm doing 4 hours of aim training every day. But even if, I don't know if you do anything for aim training right now, but even if you just go, hey, I'm going to once a week do half an hour of aim training, or I'm going to, I don't know if you play 5 days a week, 2 days a week, 7 days a week. I don't know what you do, but it could be one day a week I do half an hour of aim training, or 2 days a week I do half an hour of aim training. And that might be on days that you don't normally play. That might be as your warm up. That could be whatever. But the trick there is to kind of do it and do it consistently, because it really is kind of Overwatch's version of going to the gym. Um,
Yeah.
and you've just got to sort of do it and develop that muscle. And it should be tiring. It shouldn't just be, oh, hey, this is mindless. Like, especially if you haven't done it before, it should be like, oh, I had to focus during that, and that was sort of tired, and I might need a break after doing a bit of aim training before I start playing. If that, like that might even happen initially. Now, eventually, you'll build more endurance, but you should be pretty focused during the aim training and focused on hitting those shots. So that's what I'd get to there. And then we gave you
Yeah.
these other two things, which are, again, I want you to be charging those right clicks when you're finishing rotations, when you're buying cover, and that's going to help you get more uptime. And then I also want you more greedy with that Discord orb. So do you have any questions, comments, concerns, anything else you'd like to get into? Do those make sense?
Yeah, two actually.
Sure.
The first is when is the like on payload and on control?
hmm
Like when should I panic to? Oh, I need to touch point and on both like payload and control.
Near last. So here's the thing. If you're
No,
alive
I
and
mean
your
like exactly
Discord
like
is in play and you
yeah
don't have Transcendence, what you're looking at is you can keep the fight. Like, your team has real shots of turning the fight while you're alive, your damage is in play, and your Discord orb is in play. You are very bad at staying alive, though. Zen has very poor survivability tools outside of Transcendence and use of cover, and you're not going to have cover on point, right?
yeah
So you're basically last in the touch order on almost any team. Um, I really can't think, unless you have Transcendence, I really can't think of anyone that I would want to be more hesitant to touch point than you. Like, yes, you're going to do it with Transcendence. Yes, you're going to do it when you're the only person available. But, oh, there's a Moira available. She's going to do it. There's a Lucio available. She's going to do it. There's a Cassidy available. He's going to do it. There's a Hanzo available. He's going to do it. I mean, like, yeah, there's like, you should be thinking of yourself as like the last person to touch the point unless you have Transcendence. If you have Transcendence, that's fine. You can move yourself up the touch order significantly, and that can even be a play attempt to try to win, to go, okay, touching with Trans and let's all swarm it type thing. But without Transcendence, it's really not high priority for you. With Transcendence, you're going to touch it, but you're not going to want to be on it when your Transcendence ends unless no one else can be. Does that make sense?
yeah yeah.
Okay.
And my second question is, what's the let's say the ideal or the perfect team comp for Zen?
The perfect team comp for Zen right now is probably a Zen, Ball, Tracer, Brig, Sombra, and probably Sigma would probably be Zen's favorite comp right now. That would be his most meta composition. You're probably not going to have a lot of comfort with that on ladder, so I wouldn't worry about that too much. I'd say you're looking for
Yeah
Ball, you're looking for Tracer. Think of that as sort of your comfort ally picks, if that makes sense. Like, if you see
yeah
them, your Zen's probably going to get some work done.
yeah. I'm sorry, I just found another question.
Sure,
Last question. At the beginning, let's say I don't know exactly what was the time, but let's say 2 months ago,
sure,
I wanted to play DPS.
sure,
So in queue time, I used to train my aim.
sure.
I used to play Kree and Cassidy and Soldier. So during these times, I used to train for both. After a while, I said I want to go back to Zen. I was main Zen from the beginning of Overwatch.
Okay.
So when I went back, I felt like the aim was really different. So what I did was queue for DPS and train for Zen aim. Would that make a hard time for me inside the game, changing like aim style?
I mean, changing aim styles is always hard. Don't get me wrong. It's always hard to change aim styles. It's why people have struggled. You'll see a lot of players struggle with Hanzo because they just don't do a good job of bouncing between his regular arrow and his storm arrow. And Echo has much the same problem, where people struggle with the speed of the stickies versus the speed of her left click, and then having to do a third thing with hit scan through focusing beam. So yeah, there is something to be said for, hey, people struggle when their brain has to hold multiple aim types at once, but usually swapping heroes for most people is enough to sort of do it. It's when they kind of have to constantly go back and forth that they get into trouble. Some people just can't really do it very well and are really going to struggle to swap at all, and they can really only hold one sort of aim in their brain, even trained at a time. But most people can do multiple types of aim. They can do different speed projectiles, hit scan, that sort of thing, but they sort of need a little bit of a warm up into it. So it might cause your Cassidy to warm up a tiny bit slow when you start, but it shouldn't destroy your Cassidy gameplay or anything. No.
Yeah. All right, that's it. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, no problem. No problem. Okay, then we'll go ahead and call that one there, and I